Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Black Friday. Wow. You know, it's a real funny thing. I don't think I think maybe Canada and a couple other countries besides us celebrate Thanksgiving. Some of them on the same day, some of them not on the same day. But one thing I've learned, you all know I live in Colombia, South America, all right? In the province of Antioquia, which is where Medellin is located. And it's called the cocaine capital of the world for a long time. It's not so much anymore. And the funny thing about this is my country does not, or my country, well, pretty much my country. I've been down here for 14 years. They don't recognize Thanksgiving. If you talk to most people, they're really not sure what it's all about, and it doesn't mean anything. It's not a holiday. You don't get the day off. So it's no big deal to them. The following day, Friday, Black Friday, they do Black Friday sales just like everywhere else in the world. It's an amazing thing. They may not celebrate the beautiful holiday, but they will celebrate the retail action. That's stupid, Because let me tell you this story. When a product is manufactured and shipped, it's shipped with the manufacturer's suggested retail price, better known as which would actually be considered the list price of the item. All right, nobody sells at that price. Okay, they sell it at a reduction price, and they're still making the same money because the big discount houses buy it in volume and whatnot. So everybody's still making a decent profit. But then you get a day like Black Friday, let's say computers or something like that, okay? There's a manufacturer's suggested retail price for that, the list price for that computer. You don't know what it is. You very seldom see it unless you know where to look for it. But they'll tell you, now it's been selling for, say, let's just round it off, 3 million pesos for this laptop computer, okay? Lenovo, HP, whatever, okay? Now it's 30% off. Okay, now this is 30% of 3 million pesos, which I'm not going to do the math on, but you get the idea. It's probably around. Let me see if it'll do it or not. Just a second. I have trouble with math in my head now because I can't. I just don't, I don't retain things long enough. Let's see if this works now. Okay, so it's a reduction in price of roughly 9,000 pesos, which is jack shit. Okay, but this is just an estimate. This is just a game I'm playing, all right? That's 30% off. But it's 30% off the list price, not the selling price that you saw last week. Okay? Because number one, you don't remember what the selling price was. They'll give you a number, it's not real. Okay, if it is real, then they inflated the price when they originally put it on the market. All right? These people don't lose money on sales. And some products like computers are not going to sell enough of them in one day to make or break a store. So it's all a game. Retail is a huge game in which the individual, the buyer, you, get screwed. Macy's used to run a sale every Wednesday. Okay? This is going back a while, when I was in the United States, so it's at least 15 years ago. And they run a sale every Wednesday. I'm in the store on a Saturday because I had to buy a pair of pants for work right away because the other ones got all screwed up, wouldn't come clean with whatever I got on them, and probably I threw up on them or something like that, or I peed in them when I was drunk. So anyhow, I needed a new pair of pants, and they had to be a specific color, tan, and everything like that. Okay. So I get them at 25% off. Okay, I buy them. All right, good. Now comes Tuesday, and I see that tomorrow on the Wednesday sale at Macy's, the same pants, and I bought these original pants in Macy's. And now the second day, now they're going to be offered. I bought them at 20%, and now they're going to be 30% off. They don't show you the price; they just tell you they'll be 30% off. So I walk in, and I look at them, and they're actually $5 more than when I bought them at 25% off. Right? There's no such thing as a real bargain in the retail industry. You're going to get screwed no matter what you do. Kind of funny, you know? I know this stuff because I worked in the retail industry. I worked in supermarkets. I worked in restaurants and whatnot. And I know how the complete design of this thing is to screw you. Now, you still know they're talking about the D.C. shooter, right? Well, he was granted asylum. And apparently he was granted asylum by Trump based upon his work for the CIA in Afghanistan. Okay? Do you understand any of this? All right? I don't know how. You know, you could say it was Biden. Well, when they withdrew from Afghanistan, people like this guy who did work for the United States were gotten out of the country because of the death threats that were made against him. Now, the fact that he might have been a double agent is not going to be vetted at that particular time because they don't have the time to do it. Their troops are breathing down their neck. So they go around and they get the guy and they bring him to the United States. And then he goes through the vetting process, a very strong vetting process. The only information available is coming out of the CIA, and he worked for the CIA. So they give the guy a break and they don't buy, and then that's it. And then in 2021, he applies for, or 2022, something like that, he applies for asylum to the United States. This is the original asylum application. Came to, it was 2024 he applied for it, and it was applied to the Trump administration. The Trump administration had to make the decision on whether or not this man got asylum. And they looked at the evidence, just like Biden did and everybody else did, and they say, okay, he can come in, we'll grant him asylum. That was in April of this year he got the asylum. Then in November of this year, he goes out and shoots dead 2 National Guardsmen. Now, I don't know what caused him to do that, but my hunch is he was radicalized either prior to getting the asylum or while he was still in Afghanistan. They call it radicalization. That's just their beliefs aren't radical to them, but they are radical to us. So anyhow. So I'm looking at this. Now Trump is screaming at Biden. Now, there might have been a mistake made someplace along the line back during Biden's vetting process, but they had the opportunity to review it. Okay, they reviewed his asylum application for I don't know how many months. So in theory, he was checked out a couple of times and came up clean. But he wasn't, apparently. His mind was on killing soldiers or ISIS or whatever, and we're never going to truly know that, because this guy, kid, whatever he is, has been indoctrinated completely into this. He's not. So far as we know, he hasn't said a word about why he did what he did. Maybe a relative was attacked by National Guardsmen. You don't know, It's people react differently, and then you got different cultures involved, and their codes are different. You know, it's like one of the things that we happened in Afghanistan for us is what we didn't realize. If you killed an innocent, not even necessarily an innocent man, but when you killed an Afghan, you quite possibly brought in 100 new enemies, because the family ain't going to shake your hand. You know, in most cases, 90% of the cases. There are cases where the guy's just a dick, and people were just grateful that they just, you know. So that's you know, what's going on with the shooter. And now Trump is saying in days they're going to do ground action in Venezuela. Well, that's a lot of jungle land, man. I don't, you know. It's been tried before. I'm not sure it's going to work. And you're going to make a lot of enemies, and you're going to allow as you defeat the regular military, you're going to allow the cocaine and cartels and whatnots to move in and take over. It doesn't work, okay? It's going to cause a lot of chaos, and we're going to be there for years. But he doesn't care if he gets his hands on the oil, okay? That's what he wants. And that's going to cost Americans money somehow or another, because he just you know, he's going to steal stuff. You know, that's just Donald Trump. It's never a good idea to deal with him. Okay. Now, Trump is also pledging support to Sudan. Now, you remember the last time we were involved there? They made a movie of it. It's called Black Hawk Down. Okay? And then we got the hell out of there. We never really got into the country. It's not going to happen this time either. Now you've got two countries which are basically going to be controlled by criminal elements once we walk in and remove whatever government there is there. You know, you hear what I'm saying? We're going to be there for years. All right, unless you just want to blow Sudan up. But you can't. They got ports. They got things we want. They also got the pirates that are coming out and attacking us. So I just think that, you know, the best option for those countries is to contain them. Don't let them cross borders and do anything anywhere else. Basically blockade the country. You want to take Venezuela down, blockade the country. Air, sea, everything. Nothing flies in or out of Venezuela. And that means you got to come over on the Colombian then of Venezuela, and that blockading that part of the country is going to be a bitch, because again, it's jungle. And there's tunnels, paths, what do you call it, where they put the cable up between trees and everything. All that stuff going on. And it's jungle. It's just crazy shit, you know? And don't say you'll defoliate it. That's using Agent Orange. Look what happened to the soldiers in Vietnam that came home from that shit. My brother died because of that shit. So, you know. I didn't tell you anything. My brother told me that. They don't tell you anything. He told me to read about everything before you go to the doctor. Know what your symptoms are and everything like that. It's the same thing. Know what you're dealing with, you know? That word carcinogen, stay away from anything that says that, okay? That's just being smart. So what else is going on? I think that we're headed for a lot of serious friggin' problems because of Trump. And Trump said we get it back from Afghanistan, but now he's going to put troops in Venezuela. He's got troops all over the United States. In cities in the United States. He's got troops saying he's going to put troops in Venezuela, and then which means you'll end up in a war with South America. Uh, because you can't take. All right. When he went into Iraq or Iran, whatever it was, and they got rid of the Shah the first time, and then they got rid of they took out they destabilized the area. And when you destabilize, and when they got rid of Hussein, they destabilized the area. Well, the area was destabilized. No, it wasn't, but they destabilized it and allowed the Ayatollahs and whatnot and the radical people to take over. And the same thing happens everywhere else down there in these countries, in these rural countries. And you just, because you don't have anybody trying to make a stable government, you have people trying to get rich. Now, Trump understands that, but he doesn't understand the effects of of everything he does and what he does in other countries. Foreign relations aren't his strong suit. You know, he thinks he can go around bullying people, and on the surface it looks like he accomplished something, and then you turn around and it's gone. The same thing's going to happen with Russia. Europe knows this. Europe's very concerned about this. If you allow Putin a foothold in the Ukraine, he's going to want more. He wants the Russian Empire back. He wants Poland. I don't know what Czechoslovakia is called now. He wants the Ukraine. He wants Hungary back. Even though there's a very, Hungary's got a very big strongman in charge. It doesn't make any difference. Putin wants them all under his control. It just, people forget. It's the old adage: those who don't remember history are destined to repeat it. Trump doesn't know what history is. Trump hasn't ever read a good book. I don't think Trump ever looked at a textbook in his life. He had people reading them to him. I'm not sure how much he can actually read and comprehend. But I know he's got no genius IQ. Some of the things he's done has worked really well because it's common sense, not necessarily intellect. But what am I? I'm just a dumb kid. I'm just a dumb old guy sitting in a chair with a big belly, with a beautiful little dog, sound asleep at my side. Shows you how exciting I am to listen to, All right, that's it for me today. Hit the subscribe button, please. It does the channel good, makes me be available to more people. And every time you subscribe, it helps me. The more subscribers I have, the more likely they are to place me in the listings in a more desirable spot. That's all it really means to me, is I'm not going to make any money. By the time I get to that point in time, at the rate I'm going, I'll be, fertilizer. So anyhow, you guys take care. Have a great Friday. We'll be back tomorrow to discuss football. There is a game today. Hold on 1 second before I leave. I will do that and do the game for today. I forgot there was a game today. Eagles, Bears. Okay, I'm going to take a wild shot and go with the Bears and see what happens. That's just the way I am. What can I tell you? I'm looking to see what happened with the game yesterday, but I can't find out anything. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs lost. Yeah, they lost to the Cowboys, and they're pretty much going to be out of the playoffs this year. First time for Mahomes. But he's part of the reason. He's just not playing good right now, and he's making a lot of mistakes because I don't think he trusts the people around him anymore. So that's going to be a problem down the road. Anyhow, like I said, don't spend too much money today on Black Friday. There's other sales that come up in February that are probably better, although they too aren't really sales. Study what I told you, all right? You see I'm right. When you want something today, write the price down, and the next time it goes on sale, look at it. Okay? All right, listen, I'm out of here. I will see you. See you. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. So hit that subscribe button and adios, amigos.